Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a look at Saskatchewan's COVID-19 numbers. There are 146 new cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan. 10 of those new cases are in our zone, where we have 182 active cases, the third highest number in the province, behind only Regina and Saskatoon. There are 4 new cases in the immediate Lloydminster area, where we have 93 active cases. 1,785 cases are active province-wide. 138 people are in hospital, including 7 in the Northwest. More than 620,000 vaccine doses have been administered in Saskatchewan, including over 41,000 in our zone. Lloydminster residents may be paying a higher municipal tax bill as City Council discussed an increased mill rate this week. Jace Mackey reports.
The mill rate and taxable assessment bylaw was granted first reading by City Council this week. The residential mill rate is proposed to increase by just under 4% from the 2020 mill rate, while the non-residential rate is expected to increase by almost 6%. This comes after the mill rate saw a decrease in 2020. Mayor Gerald Albers says it's challenging for the city to keep taxes low and continue to deliver services to residents.
It's challenging, and I had a coffee with the taxpayers just in the last couple of days, and they begged me not to raise taxes. And we had that discussion. We said, what do we cut from city services? That is the question, and it's a balancing act of providing what people see each and every day to the taxes that they pay. And I'm hoping over this next term we'll continue to show taxpayers good value for their money.
While the city looks to find cost savings on every project, costs are rising and the city needs to cover their expenses.
We bought a new grader today. That didn't come free. We are putting a control structure at Lake J. That did not come free. There's everything that we do costs money, and it's a challenge.
City administration also presented comparable tax data from municipalities similar to Lloydminster that shows the border city sitting in the middle of the pack. Mayor Albers acknowledges that while Lloydminster taxpayers are paying less than those in other cities, residents are still seeing higher rates.
I know that I can't please everyone, and I know council knows that, but I believe that if you take a hard look at your city, what you get from this city, that you're getting good value. We can show comparables that we are in the middle of the road in some cases, or in less than middle of the road on the bottom third, but people that remind me that they don't live in those other places. They live in Lloydminster, and I do appreciate that.
The mill rate and taxable assessment bylaw is expected to face second and third readings on June 7th, with property tax notices in the mail on June 18th. For Primetime Local News, I'm Jace Mackey.
Painting is one of the new hobbies people have picked up during the pandemic. And if you've ever painted a rock, you can now help support a local organization by placing it in a rock snake. Wanda Liebolt created a rock snake last year with the idea of giving kids something to do outside. She decided to start up the rock snake again this year, and it caught the attention of Sheepskin Loft.
I came across this just like walking around the neighborhood, and so I saw all these rocks last year and I thought it was such a great idea. And then this year I was so glad to see that they came back. And I think they're beautiful and they're so encouraging for people, and with the pandemic and stuff, we all need that, and gives us something to do and inspire others and challenge other people to take awareness of the beauty that we can do.
Baker decided, with the amount of people who were already taking part in the rock snake, that they could turn it into a fundraiser for Fur Babies Forever homes.
We are doing this challenge until Father's Day, June 20th. And so for every rock that is placed here that is painted beautifully, we will donate $1 up to $1,000 till June 20th.
There's already over 300 rocks on the path. Even some classes at local schools around the border city have placed their painted rocks, and another local group has become involved as well.
I was approached by First Steps Daycare, and she wants to challenge people to meet the $100 donation that she wants to give to fur babies. So, whether it be people, businesses, or whatnot.
If you want to participate in the fundraiser, you can drop your rocks off, bring donations to Sheepskin Loft, or contact Fur Babies directly.
It's located on 59 Avenue and 18th Street. So please, I encourage everybody to come out and bring a nicely painted rock and add to Wanda's rock snake.
Let's get out there and paint some rocks for these little fur babies.
Jasmine King, Primetime Local News. Residents in recovery are bringing back another successful fundraiser in the coming weeks. The garage sale, which only was supposed to be a one-day event, turned into 2 days, generating up to $4,000 for the organization, and they're hoping to duplicate the success while following public health rules.
And this is just something that we figured we could do and still adhere to COVID guidelines. We'll have, a pass through the building, so one-way pass, so, people can kind of go through, maintain social distancing and pay for the things on the other side.
While Residents in Recovery does have government funding for half their operational costs, the community support for any type of fundraiser has always been greatly appreciated.
We have a lot of new programs that we want to implement here this summer, and to better support the clients that we have. So, having the community on our side is just such an important piece. And I think them supporting us and us supporting the community just works out.
The garage sale will be June 5th and 6th. If you have any gently used items you want to donate, call the Residents in Recovery office for a pickup or drop-off. The Edmonton International Cat Festival is set to go again this year. Organizers have had to make it a virtual event for the second year in a row. Stacey Comer has more on what is planned.
I'm pleased to be joined today on Primetime Local News by Linda Wang. Linda, you are with the Edmonton International Cat Festival, basically the organizer from the beginning, and it's been a little bit tough these past couple of years because of the pandemic. Normally it's something you can attend in person, but this year you guys are doing your best and it's going to be virtual again. So tell me a little bit about what's planned with the changes and having to keep it virtual.
Yeah, so we still really wanted to support cat rescues with this event, and that's really what it is. It's a celebration of cats and cat people, but we also raise money and donate 100% to local cat rescues. So, the pandemic has been difficult, I think, on all sectors, all industries, a bunch of different people, but charities are feeling it as well, and they can't do in-person fundraising. Normally, big events that would donate to different charities are being canceled. So we still wanted to proceed. We decided to put on a virtual version of this festival and do the whole weekend. Normally we're just one day, but we decided now that we're online, we can have a bit more fun and flexibility. So there's been some challenges, I think, shifting online. I think you really do lose, that buzz and energy and in-person excitement of having thousands of cat people in one room. But with online, we're able to have a whole slew of celebrity guests and people joining us from all over the world because there are no, barriers around where we're located. So we're really excited. We're going to be having an adventure cat, Great Grams of Gary. He's an Alberta adventure cat. Join us. We're going to have White Coffee Cat, which has 2 million followers on Instagram, and he's actually part of a very famous feline family in the United States. So they'll be joining us. We've got a cat behaviorist who's joining us, who will be sharing and answering a bunch of questions about those quirks that cats do. There's actually a recent cat study that looked at why cats like boxes, real and imaginary. And we've invited the lead author of that study to come talk about the findings for the festival too. So we're very excited about that. And just really everything. So we've basically taken on our on-stage in-person event and have turned it into a whole weekend where there's concurrent sessions happening at any given time. So you've got lots of options, and it's everything from cat care to cat artwork to cat music. We even have a local chef who's going to be showing us how to make homemade cat food for your cat as well. So there's just, I think there's something for everyone here. And something that's also unique is that we will be hosting Alberta's only virtual, basically online marketplace for all things cats. So that's something that was a big draw at our in-person event. People wanted to shop for themselves and for their cats. And now we've kind of come together to allow people to shop online for these cat products too.
Well, Linda, this is a great event. I was lucky enough to attend it in person a couple of years ago. And if people now want to get involved virtually one day or both days, what do they do to get tickets, and how does it work? Do they log on to a certain site once they have a ticket code, or how does that process go?
Yeah, so it's very, very simple and easy for anyone who wants to virtually attend. You buy your ticket, it's $20. 100% of those proceeds will go to cat rescues. And then at any time, you do get a link that you can click into. And then at any time on the 2 days that weekend, you can pop in and out of different sessions. You only want to watch 1 or 2 live. It's okay because we've also added 3 weeks of recordings. So you've got 3 weeks after the festival to really, we're calling it binge your own cat fest. So just whenever you feel like you want to learn something about cats or sit in on a session, we've got those replays available too. But it's all online. You really just need a computer, or you can access it from your phone. You could access it with your cat sitting on your lap even. And then know that not only are you getting really, we think quality content, but you're also supporting a good cause.
Well, and speaking of that cause, Linda, you guys have raised so much money over the past years to help out rescues. How much have you raised to date, and have you set a goal for this year?
So we have, since 2014, raised $117,000 for local rescues in the Edmonton area. And we're really proud of that. We haven't set a goal for this year because admittedly, with virtual events, it's just so hard to tell how many people are going to turn out. We thankfully have a lot of great sponsors. Homes Alive Pets has some locations across Alberta. They're one of our big sponsors in City of Edmonton Animal Care and Control. So thanks to support from those, we know that we're going to be able to donate a few $1,000s for sure to the rescues, but hard to say how much in the end. We're definitely going to get over $120,000 total this year. I can confidently say that.
Well, Linda, congratulations on all of this. First of all, the festival itself is just amazing. But now, having, as we talked about, having to work around things and still get everything organized. Once again, if people are looking for the link to get information and for the dates, can you just once again go over how they can find that?
Yeah, so all the information is available at edmontoncatfest.com, and the event takes place over the full weekend, May 29th and 30th, Saturday and Sunday. Sunday doesn't have a fun cat pun, but you can get all the info on our website there.
Linda, thank you so much for joining me today, and good luck. And hopefully next year it's back to the real thing.
Yeah, we're looking forward to getting back to that normal and seeing you there.
I'll be there, Linda. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Now we're Connor Chan. We'll take a first look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Looking at our temperatures right now, it was 2 degrees. Of course, waking up this morning, going outside, it was very cool, very chilly as we were in those minuses overnight. And we are going to continue to be that way heading into tomorrow. But southern Saskatchewan and Alberta are going to be victim to lots of snowfall overnight tonight, and potentially seeing some areas seeing 30 centimeters of snow. Mainly, we'll see that in the Swift Current areas. So 2 degrees right now for us here in Edmonton as we take a look at other temperatures in the area. 4 in Vegreville as well as up in Pearceland. 5 for Bonnyville. 3 in St. Paul and Edmonton right now. 2 degrees for Macklin, Provost, and North Battleford. Looking at St. Walburg, also sitting at 3 degrees, and 4 degrees in Isle La Crosse. Now, taking a look to that satellite radar map, a little bit more activity currently right now in that North Battleford area, as we are going to start to see a little bit of that rain-snow mixes, and we see most of that activity. You can't really see it on this map in particular, but there is going to be lots of that activity going around the Medicine Hat areas right now, seeing a little bit of showers right now in those southern parts as they do brace for the snowfall that is going to come overnight tonight. It's going to stop around that afternoon part tomorrow, so if you are making those long weekend plans to go to the Saskatoon area, be careful, as the conditions on the roads probably won't be the greatest of sorts. So looking at -3 overnight in North Battleford as it drops to that temperature with some cloud coverage, going to 8 degrees for tomorrow with the daytime high. Looking ahead to Cold Lake, -4 overnight as well, going to 11 degrees tomorrow, and we're going to still see that cloud coverage continuing on for those next couple of days. Looking for us here in Lloydminster, -4 overnight, so we are going to have another cooler morning as well tomorrow, and then 11 degrees will be our daytime high. As we take a look to those next 3 days, we are going to finally get some sunshine on Saturday with that high of 17 degrees, and we're going to still have those cooler overnights with that low of -5 for Saturday, but then we're back to a little bit warmer for that lows on Sunday with that low of 2 degrees, but a high of 21 on Sunday, where we will see a little bit more cloud coverage though, but still 21 degrees nonetheless. It will be starting to warm up for those Saturday and Sunday days as well. That is a look at your weather for now. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
With just under a week till the event, preparations are ramping up for the 2021 PF Murph Run. Evan Kenny has won the grueling physical challenge.
The 2016 Reebok CrossFit Games version of Murph is underway. We mentioned Samantha.
From the international stage to the border city, the Murph Run is set to take center stage on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, we run for him and we run for all the fallen soldiers, and you know, it's always something to be proud of, to say that you've done something like that for someone. So
the Murph, named after Navy SEAL Lieutenant Michael Murphy, consists of 2 total miles of running, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats. With so many reps, Progressive Fitness can split up the workload.
It's designed to be a hard workout. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a tough one, but the way we do it, we can scale everything, make it doable for, you know, maybe not even the most athletic person. We can scale it in many different ways and make it doable, and where everyone has a party out of it. It doesn't really matter. As long as they're having fun and supporting the fundraiser and having a good time, I'm happy.
This is Progressive Fitness's 4th annual run, with proceeds from this year's event going towards Paul LeBerge and Let's Walk the Talk.
I think it's a good thing to raise awareness for mental health and suicide, and, you know, being a strong advocate of that himself, and the president of Let's Walk the Talk, he was all aboard. So I'm more than happy to put it together.
Donations can be made at the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation website. The event will also have post-workout massages, a food truck, and a DJ. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now our Connor Chan will take another look at your weather forecast.
Thanks very much, Jasmine. There should be some great weather expected for that Murph workout there for heading into that Memorial Day weekend. But taking a look right now, we're not going to have not so nice weather, mainly down so in the southern areas, as they are expecting lots of rain and snow over that next 24-hour span here. Looking for us though at Lloydminster, we are still a little bit chilly. 3 degrees right now, same with Cold Lake, 4 out in Edmonton and Edson, with 9 degrees in Jasper, with 8 now in Whitecourt. Looking ahead to Saskatchewan, a little bit chilly as expected, 5 degrees in Prince Albert, 3 in Melfort and Saskatoon, and then 2 degrees also in North Battleford. Cooler temperatures as well, continuing up into the north areas of Saskatchewan. 2 degrees in the Loche and Buffalo Narrows, with 5 in La Ronge, 7 degrees in Uranium City, and then 1 for both Walson Lake and Stony Rapids. Looking to Slave Lake at northern Alberta, 11 degrees, 10 degrees in Fort McMurray with 15 in high level, so a little bit of a warm front in those areas of northern Alberta right now, with 14 in Peace River, and then 10 for both Fort McMurray and Fort Chipeway. This is, of course, where we are seeing a lot of that cool activity and that rain-snow mix, as I mentioned, going to happen over the next little while here. -1 in Lethbridge, -2 for Medicine Hat, 2 degrees in Calgary. We are going to see areas that could see maybe around 20 centimeters of snow in that Lethbridge area. There is a bit of a snowfall warning right now for a lot of those areas in southern Alberta and southern Saskatchewan as well. Swift Current is under that snowfall warning as well at -1. They're the city that could be subjected to close to 30 centimeters of snow over tonight. 3 degrees going to Moose Jaw, 2 in Regina, and then 2 also out in Yorkton. A little bit warmer out in Estevan, sitting at 6 degrees right now. Take a look out east, 10 degrees in Winnipeg, also pretty mild temperatures. They could also see a little bit of that same system of rain, snow carrying over out eastbound a little bit later on that Friday. Going out to areas in Ontario and Quebec, pretty warm for the most part, as it has been a pretty warm day out in Ontario. 27 degrees for Toronto and 26 in Quebec City. 14 in Vancouver right now, 7 up in Yellowknife, and then 13 in Whitehorse. Now looking to tomorrow, we are going to be a little chilly overnight tonight with that -4 temperature, and then going to our daytime high tomorrow, we we're going to see that cloud coverage again at 11 degrees, and we'll see that number in Vermilion, Wainwright, Provost, as well as up in Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Pierceland as well. 10 degrees also out in Vegreville. 8 degrees for North Battleford for tomorrow. And then looking at some other temperatures quickly in Saskatchewan, 9 in Meadow Lake, and then 10 in Green Lake. Now here's a look at the next 7 days. We are going to get a little bit warmer heading into Saturday, Sunday. Clear skies on Saturday with that high of 17, 21 on Sunday. Chance of some showers on Monday with that high of 16, and that'll carry us over into Tuesday with that same high there, and then 18 on Wednesday. So we're still going to have a little bit of cloud coverage throughout most of the day, but we are going to warm up a little bit more as we've had a little bit of cooler days over the past few days. That is a look at your 7-day forecast for now. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
I'm joined here today for Primetime Local News with Tyler McMurtry from SGI. Thanks so much for joining us today. Now, a main issue in April's traffic spotlight is speeding tickets. How many were there in Saskatchewan?
So for the total number of tickets for speeding reported by Saskatchewan law enforcement for the month of April, it was 7,165. So if you're doing the math, there are 43,200 minutes in the month of April. So that works out to about one speeding ticket written by police every 6 minutes.
Now, what were some of the speeding offenses that were included in that number?
So yeah, that number included a number of offenses for speeding tickets that that carry additional consequences or additional fines. So we saw 250 tickets for exceeding the limit by more than 35 kilometers per hour. We saw 65 tickets for exceeding the speed limit by more than 50 kilometers per hour. And there were also 528 tickets issued for exceeding 60 kilometers per hour when passing emergency workers or tow trucks that were roadside with the lights flashing. And of course, that's dangerous because those folks are there on the side of the road doing a very stressful job. We don't want to see motorists adding to the stress by zooming past them at a high rate of speed.
Was April the worst for speeding so far this new year?
It was the worst when it came to speeding offenses for this year. It's not the worst we've ever seen, but in terms of 2021, yes, it was the highest number. Now, some of that may be due to the weather. People may look at the roads that are currently, anyway, free of snow and rain and ice, and may think that they could go a little faster than they're supposed to. But we want to remind people that with that nicer weather also comes, an increase in people out on the roads. Maybe they're out taking for a walk with their families. Maybe they are riding a bike or a motorcycle. So there are more of those vulnerable road users out there as well. That's why it's really important to watch your speed and look out for everybody who's on the road with you.
And what other offenses were there other than speeding that happened with drivers in April?
Yeah, so every month as part of the traffic safety spotlight, we report on distracted driving offenses, impaired driving offenses, and seatbelt and car seat offenses as well. So we saw 456 impaired driving violations, 747 distracted driving tickets issued by police, and there were also 473 seatbelt and child seat restraint violations. Now, all of those are higher than we'd like. Let's put it that way. The impaired driving violations and the distracted driving violations, again, those are the highest numbers we've seen so far this year in 2021, reported through the traffic safety spotlights. And the fact that we see any seatbelt violations in 2021 is upsetting to us. It's not the highest we've ever seen, but it's much higher than we'd like.
And what's the hope that SGI has for this month of May for drivers that you're hoping to see?
Well, we are focusing that traffic safety spotlight on impaired driving, and we want people to keep in mind that wherever you're doing, whatever your plans may involve, we want to make sure that you always plan for a safe ride home if your plans involve alcohol or drugs. And we've got the May long weekend coming up. That's traditionally a sign or a time when people get together with friends and maybe indulge in some drinks or other impairing substances. And we want people to understand that if they're making plans for this long weekend, make plans for a safe ride home too.
And yes, for May long weekend coming up, there will be check stops planned through Saskatchewan just to watch for impaired drivers. What's going to be happening at each check stop?
Well, that's a really good point, and it's additional motivation for drivers to make that plan for a safe ride home. Yes, municipal police forces and the RCMP do have numerous check stops planned throughout the province for this weekend. So if you are out and about, you may see you may come across one of these police check stops. Generally speaking, if you are not impaired, your stay at a check stop will be very brief. The police will wave you over at random. A police officer will have a conversation. In some cases, they may ask you to blow into an approved screening device that will determine whether or not the driver has consumed alcohol to the point where it registers on that device. If that is not the case, you will be on your way. Now that test is quick, it's painless, and it's very brief. It gives you an immediate reading, and if a police officer asks you to take it, you are required by law to do so.
Are there any tips that SGI would like to give to drivers for their trips this month, not only for May long weekend, but for in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we always tell people to drive sober, and if you're not going to be sober, make a plan to have a sober designated driver. Of course, avoid distractions and avoid one of those big distracted driving tickets that start at $580 and 4 demerit points for a first offense. And of course, the fines go up considerably for repeat offenses, and they also throw in a week-long vehicle impoundment if you get a second and a third offense within a calendar year of being or within a 1 year period of being convicted of your first. We were just talking about the importance of slowing down, getting some interesting weather forecasts this weekend. So you'll definitely want to always check the forecast, check the highway hotline to see if you'll be dealing with any road closures or poor weather conditions. And of course, when conditions are poor, you don't just slow down to the speed limit, you slow down to a speed that is appropriate for the conditions you're dealing with.
Is there anything else you'd like to add for people to know about?
Well, we just want everybody to have a safe and happy May long weekend, and look out for yourselves and look out for each other.
Perfect, Tyler. Well, it's always great to have you on our show and be able to give a nice reminder out there for drivers. Thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you, Shelby.
Dan Davidson is joining us here today on Primetime Local News. Dan, we're here today to talk about your new single just released this week, Roll With It, and featuring the Roadhammers, which has a familiar face from around here, Clayton Bellamy.
That's right.
Tell me about this single.
I'm really excited about this one. This is the first time I've ever done a single with a feature on it. So I've been really involved with the Roadhammers recently, actually. I mean, not only did Clayton and I work on everything together, but we were writing a lot for their record, and this is one of the songs that we started writing, and we finished it, and we're kind of like, this kind of sounds a bit more like a Dan song than a Hammer song. So, having nothing to do and having a few skills in the studio myself, we were able to turn it around really quick, and I was able to work with my producer, Jeff Dalzio, in Ontario virtually, and it just kind of came together in this, super high-paced, weird way. I mean, it's like the opposite of how the pandemic works, but it really felt like the engine was in overdrive for this one, and it just came together so quickly. And it's so much fun. I think it's a great 2021 anthem for grinning and bearing it, finding a little light at the end of the tunnel sometimes.
Well, Dan, is this part of a bigger project? Are you going to be releasing an album at some point with more songs on it, or did you just wanted to release the one and go from there for now?
I kind of release albums when I hit a saturation point. Like once I get like 5 or 6 singles out, and like, okay, I might as well package them together and put them out. But unfortunately, the point of an album is kind of lost these days in the world we live in. I think the only really reason that I need an album is it's more to apply for awards and grants and things like that. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange thing. I like the idea of an album because I grew up owning albums and reading the liner notes and everything like that. But really, the only place I sell them is off stage, and I'm not really touring right now. So maybe towards the fall, I'll be more ready to look at a hard album as I try and make some plans to actually see some real humans in person.
Now, you, Dan, are also known for your videos that sometimes have a little crazy twist. Will we see a video with this song eventually as well?
Yeah, we were able to get a video together. We were shooting the video for the Roadhammers' latest single, My director Travis is one of my best friends, and he was working on the video for that, and I had produced the Roadhammers' latest single, so I was just kind of around. And while they were in town in Edmonton to shoot for that video, pre-lockdown, by the way, we were able to get him into my studio, and we did a little green screen video, and got really creative with it to make it look cool. So it was less of a crazy comedy video, but it has a really interesting look to it, and it's definitely, you know, not your typical video. So I'm excited to get that out. It's coming out on the 27th.
Now, how is your summer looking, Dan? I know it's still kind of up in the air because, you know, different provinces, different lockdowns, that sort of thing. But can you make any plans for even small tours at this point?
You know, I'm starting to try. Honestly, I got a couple of offers now for July, and you know, the live music world is still pretty confident that we're going to be back at it in July. And yeah, so you know, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they're right. Like, I got 2 shows booked in Alberta, and I think towards August, towards fall, I think we're going to see everybody starting to get out there and get active again. And I just hope that it's in the same way that I used to love, where I get to, you know, shake people's hands and have an autograph line, and, you know, not have tables at shows. But we'll see.
It must be so tough for you too, Dan, as somebody who loves to be out on stage and performing and being interactive. This has been a long time, obviously. So you must just be chomping at the bit to get out there and release that energy.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to Dallas Smith on the phone earlier today, and I was saying, like, it's so crazy. It's probably the longest I haven't traveled in 10 years. And most of us musicians are, you know, echoing that statement. It just feels strange. And usually by February, I have a trip somewhere, and sometimes it's a nice warm place, or even if it's Nashville or Europe or something, it's definitely a break from an Alberta winter. And this year, February just felt like the longest month of all time. It's the first time I've experienced a full February in Alberta for God knows how long. So yeah, that's usually my writing trip month. And it was a tough winter, but you know, you get creative and you get resourceful, and I'm just glad that we're finally seeing some nice weather. Well, not today, obviously it snowed last night in Edmonton, but you know, I got a sunburn this weekend, and then I'm built a snowman today, so who knows what's going to happen here, but gives me some hope.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. And once again, for people who maybe have not heard your music, if they've been under a rock somewhere, where can they find the latest song?
I think if you head over to dandavidsonmusic.com, it'll give you all the possible link options to whatever platform you like to use. So I would check it out there.
All right, Dan. Well, thank you so much and good luck. We hopefully can see you live sometime here in the next few months.
Sure hope so. Nice to speak with you again, Stacey.
Taking one last look here at your weather forecast. We're going to warm up a little bit heading into this long weekend. So tomorrow we are going to be a little bit cooler overnight with that -4 daytime low, but we will get a high of 10 degrees tomorrow, 16 on Saturday, as we are expecting a little bit more sunshine in the forecast. Lots of areas right now currently under a snowfall warning in southern Alberta and Saskatchewan. So if you are making a trip out to Saskatoon or areas, make sure you are careful of road conditions. 19 degrees on Sunday, rain on Monday expected at 13 degrees, 16 on Tuesday, 15 on Wednesday, and then 18 degrees on Thursday.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great rest of your night.